No, I'm not.
So you
Okay, here
can't
we go.
think.
And Rabbi Wolf agreed.
You can think.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Garden of the Spirit, a
Hey.
class studying apples from the orchard for the second time, beginning after Pesach 2014. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, the center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth Bas Moshe, Margaret Vogel of blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contains selections of teachings of Kabbalah from the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, based on the weekly Torah portion, superbly translated and explained by Rabbi Moshe Wisniewski. Okay, we're on page 647, the fourth chapter of Emor. No, wrong guy. Okay, all set?
Yep.
The Torah tells a story of a man whose mother was Jewish and his father was Egyptian. He got into an argument and cursed the one above. They placed him under guard until they got word from Hashem that the punishment for one who curses is stoning. Which the entire congregation did. To curse or blaspheme means to state the name of Hashem with the word that implies curse, like cursed be, you got it, an actual name of Hashem. It does not mean to simply use cuss words. If I say the word curse here, it means to blaspheme. To use a word of cursing with one of the names of Hashem. The Midrash explains the background to the story. A woman named Shlomit from the tribe of Dan was overly friendly. Her name implies that she greeted everyone, Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, and attracted the attention of an Egyptian taskmaster. He sent Shlomit's husband on an errand one night and had relations with Shlomit, with her thinking it was her husband. When the husband returned, he realized what had happened. The next day, a taskmaster beat the husband, intending to beat him to death. Moshe saw and killed the taskmaster by pronouncing the name of Hashem. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We all know this story. The son born from their union wanted a share in the tribe of Dan, the tribe of his mother. He went to court, and Moshe ruled against him, that he does not belong to the tribe of Dan. And then he cursed. One moment. Okay. Alan, please begin.
Avenging the death of Chabal. The son of an Israelite woman and an Egyptian man went outside amongst the Israelites. That son of an Israelite woman contended with an Israelite man in the camp. So the son of an Israelite woman blasphemed the name of Hashem and cursed, and they brought him to Moshe. His mother's name was Shlomit, the daughter of Dibri of the tribe of Dan. They put him in jail until Moshe could tell them what Hashem said to do with him. Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, "Bring the cursor outside the camp, and all those who heard him curse should place their hands upon his head. And then all the congregation should stone him."
Okay, I just want to add, I forgot to say, intended to say, that incidentally, our rabbis teach that this is the only instance during the entire time in Egypt that a Jewish woman had relations with an Egyptian man or a Jewish person had relations. Okay, go ahead.
We are told in the oral tradition that this cursor was the son of an Egyptian taskmaster. Shlomit was an overly outgoing, talkative woman, as alluded to by the fact that the Torah mentions that she was the daughter of Dibri, for these words may be read as the talkative daughter. Because of her immodesty, this Egyptian taskmaster took note of her and despised her.
This
He
decipher.
and desired her. Sorry, he desired her. He woke her husband up in the middle of the night and summoned him to his work. While the husband was out, the Egyptian taskmaster slipped into the house and had relations with Shlomit, who thought that this man was her husband. When the husband came home, he understood what had happened. When the taskmaster saw that the husband understood what had happened, he afflicted him relentlessly. Moshe, who at this point was still an Egyptian noble, had gone out to see how his compatriots were doing, and when he witnessed how this taskmaster was afflicting Shlomit's husband, he slew the taskmaster by pronouncing Hashem's name. Years later, the son born of this illicit union tried to encamp in the camp of the tribe of Dan, but an Israelite man quoted him the verse, "The Israelites shall encamp such that each man be near the flag of the insignia of their fathers' houses." This man could therefore not claim the right to encamp with his mother's tribe. The two of them went into Moshe's tent to be judged, and the verdict was against the son of the Egyptian, who then went outside Moshe's tent and blasphemed. Hashem told Moshe that after the witnesses placed their hands on his head, the court should stone him.
Okay.
Why do they place the hands on the head, though?
Good question. Probably like to say, you bear the guilt for your death.
But they don't keep the
In a way,
hands
like
on the head when they're
absolving
stoning.
themselves. Huh?
They don't keep the hands on his head when they're stoning him.
No. No. Have you ever been to Stoneham, Massachusetts? Okay.
Oh,
Is that the north of Boston, North Shore?
oh,
All right. What else?
Or
Oh, after reading that whole episode there, I'm like, very interesting. Okay, 648 at number 4.
yeah.
Now, here we go. The common word for curse is kalel, and it's used here several times. But there's another word that's used here, and that is nokev, which usually means to bore a hole or to pierce. So actually, if you translate it literally, it would say he says, blasphemed the name of Hashem and cursed. But it would be, the Hebrew is like he bored a hole in the name, or he pierced the name of the name. Obviously, it's not the translation, but that's really what the word means if we were to translate it literally. The Arizal will explain that boring a hole can describe what happened in the Kabbalistic interpretation of this incident. And it's really cool. Okay, go ahead, Alan. Top of 648.
In order to understand this, you must first know what it says in the Zohar, namely that the word for blaspheme, Vayikov, is to be understood as it is in the phrase "and he bored," Vayikov, a hole in its door. The word for "and he blasphemed," Vayikov, literally means "and he bored." The Mishnaic word for hole, nekev, is derived from this word. The verse regarding the son of the Egyptian may thus be read, he bored a hole in the name of Hashem. And in general, blaspheming Hashem's name may be mystically seen as puncturing it.
Okay, I made a mistake here. I totally missed that. Minute?
You'll fix it later.
No, I just fixed it. Now, King Yehoash was the grandson of the wicked Queen Salia. He was declared king at the age of 7. He restored the maintenance of the building of the Beis Hamikdash that had been neglected. He made a box for people to donate funds to the upkeep of the building. We read it in the Haftorah, I think, 2 weeks ago. It says, Vayikov Hor Bidalto. He bore a hole in its door or in the lid of the box, and people threw in the money. So there it also says Vayikov, and there it means the regular way. He made a hole. He poked a hole. Back at the beginning of creation, Cain killed his brother Hevel. According to one explanation, Cain was born with one twin sister, and Hevel was born with 2 twin sisters. As the oldest, Cain claimed the right to marry Hevel's second twin. This was the disagreement that led to Cain's killing Hevel. When Cain died, different parts of his soul went to the Egyptian taskmaster, Yisro, father-in-law of Moshe, and Korach, the cousin of Moshe, who led a revolt. Moshe was an extension of Hevel, and Shlomit was an extension of Hevel's second twin, the woman that they fought over.
That's why the taskmaster wanted Shlomit. Perfectly makes sense.
Yes, you're catching on. And I think I read that too. Okay, I read that a little too early. Go ahead, Alan.
He bored this hole because he wanted to defend his mother. We will see presently how the son of the Egyptians sought to defend his mother, Shlomit, by boring this hole in Hashem's name. According to the Zohar, the Israelite man who was arguing with the son of the Egyptian was in fact his stepbrother. When Shlomit's husband understood that she had had illicit relations with the taskmaster, and that this was brought about by her immodest behavior, he separated from her and took another wife. This Israelite man was the son of Shlomit's husband and his second wife. This second son knew the story surrounding the first son's birth, and in the course of explaining to him why he was not allowed to encamp together with the tribe of Dan, told him the circumstances of his birth. The first son then blasphemes Hashem's name in order to defend his mother Shlomit's honor, as we shall see.
Oh, go ahead.
Now you must know that when Hevel was killed by Cain over the extra twin sister born with him, the evil of Cain was transferred into the Egyptian taskmaster that Moshe killed, since Moshe was a reincarnation of Hevel, who was killed by Cain. As we have mentioned previously, a twin sister was born with both Cain and Hevel, but with Hevel were born 2 twin sisters. The brothers were meant to marry their twin sisters and thus populate the world. Cain was jealous of Hevel's extra sister wife, and this is one of the reasons he killed him.
Okay. The son of Shlomit, who cursed, had the evil of Cain in him as well. Like his father was an extension of Cain, and the son had this evil in as well. To repair the incident of Cain killing Hevel, or Cain's killing Hevel, parent, Moshe, the extension of Hevel, killed the Egyptian taskmaster, the extension of Cain. Both incidents occurred over 2 women with the same soul. Go ahead.
Now the blasphemer was the son of the Egyptian, and he was entirely evil, devoid of any good aspects. In the semi-parallel passage in Shar HaPsukim, the Arizal points out that the son of the Egyptian inherited the evil of Cain from his father. This is why the Torah specifically calls him the son of an Egyptian man, because Moshe killed his father using the divine name. He blasphemed that same divine name.
I'm lost. Oh, you're down there. Okay. And the next one as well.
His mother, Shlomit, the daughter of Dibri, was a spark of that second twin of Havel, over which Cain killed him. Therefore, this Egyptian was killed over this Shlomit. Since Cain killed Havel over Havel's sister wife, the reincarnation of Cain, the Egyptian taskmaster, was killed over the reincarnation of the sister wife, Shlomit. In the semi-parallel passage in Sha'ar HaPsukim, the Arizal states that just as Cain desired Havel's sister wife, his reincarnation, his Egyptian taskmaster, desired her reincarnation, Shlomit. Moshe, the reincarnation of Havel, killed this Egyptian, thereby avenging the death of Havel at the hands of Cain.
Okay.
Scorecard.
Who's winning?
Yeah. Who's on first?
Okay. Number 7. The divine energy is diminished as it descends through the process of creation. Before it descends to the next stage, it passes through a screen that diminishes the light. The screen is identified with Malchus, which acts as an interface between stages. Here we specifically refer to the screen between the third and fourth stages, Yetzirah and Asiya. This is also signified by the letter Daled of the word Echad in Shema. The letter Aleph is 1 and represents divine light at its source. The letter Ches is 8 and represents the divine light extending downward through the 7 heavens and the earth. The letter Dalet is 4 and represents, once it reaches the earth, the bottom, that it expands in all 4 directions. Okay, go ahead. Now you know.
Now you know that there is a screen separating Yetzirah and Asiya that acts as a veil shielding Asiya from the light of Yetzirah. This veil is the Malchus of that world, that is Yetzirah. That Malchus is called the Dalet, and is the significance of the Dalet of the word for one, Echad. The Malchus of any world is the interface between that world and the world below it on the chain of spiritual development, where the light, that is consciousness, of the higher world is translated into or projected onto terms meaningful in the lower world, which is in fact defined by this lower level of divine consciousness. According to Jewish law, when we recite the Shema, Hear, O Israel, Hashem is our Hashem is one, we are to meditate on certain allusions in the spelling of the word for one, Echad. This word is spelled Aleph Ches Daled. The word Aleph means chief, aluf. The numerical value of Ches and Daled are 8 and 4, respectively. We are to consider how the chief of the world, that is Hashem, is master of the 8, that is the 7 heavens and earth, and the 4, that is the 4 directions. Thus, the Ches signifies Hashem's mastery over the vertical dimension, including the spiritual realms above the physical universe, and the Daled signifies Hashem's mastery over the horizontal dimension of space. The Daled thus represents the spatial expanse at the bottom of the spiritual physical hierarchy of the world. As such, it correlates to Malchus, the lowest level of any world.
Okay. Now, there's a mystical name of Hashem, Aleph Hey Vav Hey. Okay. And it is not found in Tanakh, but these letters are initials of several phrases, maybe many phrases. For example, it's in the first pasuk of the Torah, Es Hashamayim ve'es ha'aretz, in order, Aleph Hey Vav Hey. Hashem created the heaven and the earth. It is associated with both facets of Das, Chesed and Gvura. Intellect typically is composed of three components, Chochma, Bina, and Das. If you count each facet of Das as one, there are four components. Gershon, we'd like to continue.
First, it is farther known that Chesed and Gebura correspond to the name Akba. That's where we are?
Yeah.
The divine name Akba, Aleph, He, Vav, He, does not appear explicitly in the Bible, but is encoded as the initials of many phrases. In most contexts, it is associated with the Sephirah of Das, which contains the sources of Chesed and Gebura, which is why there are four compartments in the tefillin instead of the three we would expect, being that the intellect comprises three Sephiros, Chokmah, Bina, and Das.
Now, the son of Shlomit to a curse wanted to repair the damage of Cain and Hevel, who represent Chesed and Gvura, by using this name of Hashem, Aleph, He, Vav, He, which is also associated with Chesed and Gvura. So Cain and Hevel are Chesed and Gvura, and this name is Chesed and Gvura. These four letters are the initials of HaYisraelis, Es Hashem, Vayaviu. The son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name of Hashem, and they brought him to Moshe. They are also the initials of a pasuk in 2 Kings, Es HaAvos, Es HaYidonim. This says that King Yoshia, if I'm not mistaken, that he got rid of much of the idol worship. And it lists a whole bunch there, including the actual idol worship known as Avot and Yidonim, or different types of wizardry, or wizard, that kind of thing. Okay? All right. Continue, Gershon.
Now, this son of the Egyptian taskmaster was meant to rectify the sin of Cain and Hevel, who personified Chesed and Gebura. With the power of this name, from which he was sustained, as is alluded to in the initials of the words for "and the son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name, and they brought him," as well as in the initials of the words for the soothsayers and the wizards. He sought to puncture this veil and thereby drawn down the divine beneficence on his mother, who was in Asiya. Since the son of the taskmaster was intended to rectify the sin of Cain and Abel, he derived spiritually from their spiritual source, Chesed and Gebura. He therefore was able to manipulate the name of Hashem associated with these two Sephiros, the name Akba. The most basic initials that form the name Akba are those of the words from the first verse of the Torah, the heavens and the earth, Es Hashamayim, Es Haaretz. This name thus represents the power to join heaven and earth, to unite, which is why it is associated with the Sephirah of Das, the power to unite Chochmah and Bina and produce offspring from them, the Midos. This is also why the word Das is used to describe marital union, as in, and Adam knew his wife Eve. The son of the taskmaster Das wanted to misuse this divine name, in order to unite that which is not meant to be normally united. He wanted to draw down divine beneficence from the world of Yetzirah into the world of Asiya. That means a level of holiness onto a realm that cannot normally lay claim to such a level. In this way, he thought that he could purify his mother and rid her of the scourge of her immodesty. The initials of the italicized words in the phrase, "and the son of the Israelite woman blasphemed the name, and he cursed, and they brought him," by Yaakov ben Chayisal Chayisraelit es Hashem de Yekalel Yabiot Oto, are a permutation of the name Akba. Such constructions are usually formed out of consecutive words, but here the word for "and he cursed" by Kalel interposes between the third and fourth words of the construction. Interposes, okay. Nonetheless, since the initial of the interposed word is the same as that of the fourth word, the acronym is not affected. In the parallel passage cited after this one, the word for "and he cursed" is in fact used. The soothsayers and the wizards, et ha'abot be'ehayodonin. Shlomit was considered to be in the world of Asiya. In this world, the power of evil is greater than the power of holiness. Okay. In Yetzirah, the power of evil and holiness are on equal footing, and in the world of Beria, the power of holiness is greater than the power of evil.
All right. Thank you. Now, this is why the Torah uses the word for curse, vayikol. This is why the Torah uses the word for curse, vayikov, which usually means to poke a hole. We said before, the screen between Yetzirah and Asiya is associated with the letter Daled, which also means door. This phrase connects nekev to bore a hole. Oh, the phrase that we had before, vayikov chor bedalto, that the king, Yehoash, poked a hole in the door, connects nekev to bore a hole with the letter Daled and a door. The son of Shlomit, who cursed, wanted to use this name of Hashem to poke a hole in the screen or door between Yetzirah and Asiya and allow his mother to receive the divine energy. Okay, go ahead.
This is the meaning of he blasphemed the name, taking the word for blaspheme to be cognate to the word, and he bore the hole in its door, alluding to Malchus of Yetzirah, which is called the door. Thus, the proof text from the Book of Kings does not only provide us with the literal meaning of the word for blasphemy, but also with the imagery associated with blasphemy, making a hole in a door. The name of the letter Dalet, which we said above signifies Malchus, literally means door. This is appropriate since Malchus is the door from the lower world to its own world and vice versa. The parallel passage to this one in Shar HaPesukim does not track it sufficiently to allow it to be presented with it side by side, so we give it here instead.
Okay, so basically this is the end of the chapter in one book. The rest of the chapter is a parallel passage from a different book of the Arizal. While most is a repeat of what we read until now, it adds that the Torah says all of Israel stoned him, which is not possible. It actually refers to the Sanhedrin and the scholars, for they experienced Shabbos even during the week, as we learned in depth in Kedoshim chapter 4, page 621. Why is it important that they experience Shabbos during the week? I didn't quite catch that yet. And that's why they were the ones to stone him, because they had the special holiness of Shabbos. And
earlier it said that only the ones that heard him curse stoned him.
No, they put their hands on his head.
Oh.
Good point. Good question. Okay, and then there's one more thing. I'll read it, I guess, afterwards. It's not in the English. Okay. You can skip the Hebrew version. Just go to the reason. Page 651.
The additional content from this parallel passage is as follows. The reason all the congregation, that means the Sanhedrin and the Torah scholars, were the ones who had to stone him is because only they can receive the additional ray of Shabbos consciousness during the week as well, as is known. It is, of course, impossible for the whole people of Israel to stone anybody. So this verse is interpreted to mean that the representatives of the people, that means the Sanhedrin or High Court of Justice, were to do the stoning. Okay. The Torah scholar, by virtue of his consciousness being fully imbued with the Torah he studies, is able to sustain something of the divine consciousness we normally attain only on Shabbos throughout the week. For this reason, the Zohar states that the Torah scholar is likened to Shabbos. Rabbi Shalom Sharabi points out that on Shabbos, the world of Atzilus shines into the world of Beria, meaning that the intellect is imbued with divine consciousness that transcends intellect. One senses Hashem presence in his Torah study. By invoking the name of Akba, and thereby improperly opening the world of Asiya to the world of Yetzirah, the blasphemer was also causing the consciousness of the higher worlds, Beria and Atziya, to unnaturally descend. This had to be rectified by those who personified those words, the Torah scholars and the Sanhedrin. This explanation dovetails with another reason given by the blasphemer blasphemed. Okay. According to the sages, when he heard the law of the showbread, which immediately perceives the account of his blasphemy, he scoffed at the fact that the Torah requires the showbread to remain in the temple for 9 days and only then eaten by the priests. A king should be served fresh bread every day, not stale 9-day-old bread. In fact, the showbread miraculously remained fresh for 9 days. According to this, his scoffing at the Shabbos made him blaspheme. It was therefore proper that the Sanhedrin and the scholars who are likened to Shabbos be the ones to stone him. For all this, we see the importance of being fit to receive divine consciousness and the seriousness of the error trying to reform evil by shining divine consciousness on it before it has been made ready for it. The Baal Shem Tov taught that all processes of spiritual growth must pass through the 3 stages of ego submission, separation between good and evil, and finally sweetening of evil through good. We see here, it seems, an instance of trying to skip the second stage, of trying to sweeten evil without first separating it out, that means destroying its evil context. Sweetening evil is possible only of the inner core of good that is present within it. And this can be revealed only if we crush the outer shell or context of evil within which the inner good is trapped. The mistake of all would be, but am I doing something wrong? The mistake of all would be, but misguided spiritualist, says the Baal Shem Tov, is being reluctant to slay the evil context before trying to sweeten the good, inner core. Instead, they try to sweeten the outer reality, but this outer reality is not ready to be sweetened. In fact, it exists only to be resisted, rejected, and destroyed by being identified for what it is. Only when this is done can we proceed to sweeten reality by revealing the inner good that truly lies within everything.
Okay.
It was good.
Yes, but there's more that he doesn't say in the Hebrew. The Hebrew says, which is not translated, that the gematria of Aleph Hey Yud Hey, Ekia, not the name that we had here. This is Aleph Hey Vav Hey. We're talking about the name Aleph Hey Yud Hey. We have many times, which has a gematria of 21. Is an expanded spelling is 161 if the letter Hey is expanded with Yud, because there's 3 ways to expand the letter Hey. So it has 3, I think 143, 151, and the highest is 161. The gematria of Kayin is 100 plus 10 plus 50, or 160, or 161 with the kolel. So it says that Kayin is a match for Ekia. The gematria of Kayin is 1 less than the expanded spelling of Ekia for his missing twin. In other words, he says the reason why it's not a perfect match, but it's 1 off, is because Kayin was missing a twin. He only had 1 sister and not 2. Hevel was born with 2 twin sisters, and Kayin only had 1. Then he gives a different reason, that when you expand the spelling of Ekia, there is only 1 aleph in the expanded spelling, and that is for Kayin's 1 twin sister. And that I expanded it here. You see the aleph, hey, yud, and hey. And there's only 1 aleph in there. And that is because he had 1 twin sister.
I'm sure it has nothing to do with anything, but what was the word? Hallel?
Hallel is the regular word for curse.
And kolel is, the joker. Okay.
And it's 2 different spellings.
Yeah, two lamed somewhere.
Yeah, but one Kalel, curse, is with a kuf,
I
with a
see.
value of 100.
Eh,
The inclusive, or whatever you call it, is with a kaf with a value of 20.
just making sure there was nothing funny about it.
Oh,
Um,
Oh, next chapter is 10 pages, Alan.
Emor,
Huh?
R,
And more in the back. Chapter 5 has 10 pages.
okay.
7.5. I missed a page.
Maybe. So, yeah, we're going to be there. And I get this right. Okay.